Hi there,
Hello,
I'm Simon,
and I'm Marielle,
and we're of.
Blue Fox Comics.
I see. This week we are reviewing some of our graphic novels that we've read. I will start with Black Science by Rick Remender.
And then I'll be doing Pride of Baghdad, and then to finish up we'll do Glitterbomb. And like the last one that we did, so I've read Pride of Baghdad.
I've read Black Science.
And we've both read Glitterbomb.
There you go. Got the plug-ins early. Plugs in early. Okay, so yes, okay, so straight in. Black Science. It's by Rick Remender and Matteo Scalera and Dean White. It is a how to say it? Yeah, science fiction, sort of action adventure type story. Yeah, I mean, a few things really just to get there. It sort of grabs you from page one. I think I can't remember reading a Rick Remender story before, and I think that's mainly because because the story personally was really good right from the off. That's when I looked at who'd written it, and so I may have actually read a Rick Remender one, but I've obviously never been.
Quite so taken.
Yeah, quite so taken with it to bother to have a look at the name, so I apologise now. But saying that, Black Science, I did, and I looked, and nowadays I do look, when I see Rick Remender on the cover, I actually look for that. So that's, that's just the truth, man. So it's about I can say it's sort of a scientist called Grant and a team of people who develop a machine which allows them to travel anywhere in the multiverse type thing, so they can end up on any planet, even versions of Earth and so on and so forth. But we join it after the machine has gone wrong, and they randomly, it's sending them to random places, but only within a certain distance from the machine, so that they actually have to. So they have to be by the machine when it next goes. They do have a countdown, so they do know when it's next going to go. But yeah, so that's the thing. So it's very they've got the time specific there. So people, they have to get back to the machine. So they go to find. It starts off, and two of them are on expedition to find some fuel for the machine, or some coolant for the machine, so it doesn't overheat and explode and stuff like that. So that's why they don't just stay with the machine. And also, depending on where they land, they might be with friends or foes, and they never know. So that's very exciting. There's lots of good characters. There's some subtle sort of espionage in there as well, because the machine may or may not have been tampered with, or someone's actually made it possibly go wrong. So you need to find out who that is and stuff. And yeah, so that's where it jumps in. It's very gripping. I think would appeal to everyone, and has a very surprising end. So there you go. So and not something that you'd expect to see. So that's my very brief summary, but definitely worth getting. I haven't read any of the other Black Sciences yet. I do have them, so I will be. But obviously, I just wanted to focus on number one now. So there you go. So there you go. The Black Science says the cover I've got. How to Fall Forever. Is that what it says? Yep. So and yeah, definitely one to pick up and read.
Well, mine is different to yours. Very different.
Okay.
So Pride of Baghdad, and this is Brian K. Vaughan.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he already has a massive following because of Saga and Why the Last Man and these things. So I was quite interested to read this one. It's from the point of view of the lions, so that was quite interesting as well. And it is based on true events. So there were lions in Baghdad that were shot by US military,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's inspired and drawn from that.
Mm.
So quite a deep one, quite very sort of relevant to events that are going on in the world. So yes, completely different tone. And It's really well. Someone said to me when I picked it up, they said, "Did Bambi make you cry? Because if it did, good luck." And it did make me cry. So Bambi did, and so yeah, this one's it is really sad. It's really sad. It's quite moving, and there are a lot of layers. What's nice about the edition that I have here is that in the back you've got some of the sort of the treatments and things that were put together, and some of certainly Brian Cavorn's thoughts about what was going on in the story. I found those quite handy to read actually once I've read it, because it just was very deep. There was a lot going on there, and there's a lot sandwiched into actually quite a short amount of time, because it's just this one. It's just this edition. So enjoyed would not be the right word for sort of these things. And personally, I would have liked it if it had been longer. I wanted to get to know the lions more, things like that. So, but I'm sure that's actually in a way, it might sound like a criticism, but it's probably actually a good thing. It's probably but yeah, I would have liked it if it had been longer, and sort of maybe more about the lions and the characters, but that's sort of personal preference, because it was dealing with so many things, and it was working on so many layers, as I say, and so much that's going on that it must be difficult to get all of that into such a short story. But yes, I would certainly say if you're looking for something different, and you're looking for something maybe from a different perspective, and that isn't sci-fi fantasy, because I love sci-fi fantasy, but there's a lot out there in the comic world. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, this would be for you. Good, we sorted it out. Yeah, it's all fine. So the only thing that I would add to what I've just said is, if you prefer escaping the real world and going into sci-fi fantasy and things like that, then this probably isn't for you. It is a mature read. It does deal with things that certainly younger readers might find very upsetting. Older readers would find very upsetting too. But just do be careful who's picking it up. But yes, the artwork's beautiful, absolutely lovely. It's very interesting. And I would say if you really do like your comics and you're interested in it, it's really worth a read. So yeah,
okay,
that's a good choice. That sounds good. Finally, now that we've tracked it down, Glitterbomb. I love this. I would recommend this to everyone. This one is not sci-fi fantasy. Again, it's a step away from that sort of stuff, in that it deals with quite relevant, pressing issues sort of in Hollywood and stuff like that. However, because, as you can probably tell from the cover, it's quite horror orientated, you do get a little bit of supernatural stuff in there, so it's not too far. It's not like Pride of Baghdad. It's not a massive step away, but it's really interesting, certainly from the point of view of somebody who was really interested in being an actress, things like that. This was a really good read. It's really relevant. It deals with lots of things that in a very interesting and sort of supernatural way. It deals with a lot of the challenges that certainly you face as an actress, things like that. And what's really nice, because I've got the graphic novel here, but I did read the paperbacks. I read 1 to 4, which is in here, and that's all that's come out so far. And what's really nice or interesting or poignant, probably a better word, are that you get snippets in the back from a writer who did work in the Hollywood industry, and it's a real unsettling but eye-opener for what it's like for some people who go into the industry, and so that also keeps the story very, very relevant. But I enjoyed it. It was good. It was interesting. It was exciting. There are lots of fun things in there. There are lots of interesting characters in there, and the protagonist is I like her. I really like her, and I think that's clever, because she's not sweet and lovely and all you know, sort of like you don't just fall in love with her on the first page and
No.
think, oh, you're so adorable.
Yes.
She's really real, but that's part of the reason that I really liked her.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, and I would say, please, yeah, definitely read it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, and again, it's another one which at the end, it's an interesting ending, and I mean there are more coming out soon, but yeah, yes, it's good. I like it like that. So yeah, I'd say it is horror, and yeah, it deals with lots of different characters, and I think some that you know maybe quite relevant, but maybe that you'd recognise and stuff like that. So it's just about having to break through in maybe a job which is difficult to break through in, shall we say.
Yeah.
So yes, it's written by Jim Zub. I'm just checking and I think it looks like it's illustrated by Jabril Morissette Fan. So yes, but it's just really good. It's a good melding of writing and art as well. It works very well, and so quite horrible, but that's.
Yeah, it is quite horrible. I mean, I would say it's probably more of a mature read. But there's a lot of that's to do with sort of what it's actually talking about as well. It's I would say it's quite profound in lots of ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting. It's fascinating.
Thinking person's horror.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's a good description.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, so I would definitely recommend that one. I can safely say I enjoyed it more than Pride of Baghdad. Yeah, because there are more things there that I think you can really sink your teeth into from a story, plot, character point of view. But yeah, so yeah, all recommended. And yes, we'll put all of the authors, artists, all of that down in the below. So,
all right. Yeah. So next week or next time. Say next time.
Let's say next time. Let's do that. So I will be doing Pretty Deadly, which is one that I read a little while ago, and I don't believe there have been any more since that time.
I'm not sure.
More on that later.
I should be doing Trees. Here we go. I probably have read the singles that comprise this, so I need to reread this and might sure. So read Trees by Warren Ellis and Jason Howard.
And then we will both be looking at Hit, which I have read the first issue of, and we'll be reading more, so that's probably a good sign. So we'll both have a read of that and let you know what we think next time. So so if you'd like us to review any specific ones, if there is any more detail you'd like on any, if there's anything that we're missing that you'd like to hear more about when we review them, please do let us know. And again, let us know your thoughts. It'd be interesting to hear what the rest of the comic book world think of what we're reading. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.